It's the winter of 2014. I'm entering the prayer hall of a temple because it's the prayer meeting for my grandpa who has just passed away. I'm sitting in the front row. The photo of my grandpa is right before my eyes. The priest is telling stories about death, soul, reincarnation. The priest is explaining how the soul leaves the body and comes back in another generation of the same family. But I am wondering, soul coming back to the same family? Why? Why not choose a better family? I don't believe it that this priest is telling made up stories. I look around and everyone is in tears. But I'm the only one who is not crying. Sitting there, I start wondering what kind of person my grandpa was. He would sit on the porch of our house in his baggy old beige colored kurta pajama, playing a melodious flute with his eyes closed. Often my grandma would scold him for random reasons while he was busy playing the flute. Old man, what kind of clothes are you wearing? Why don't you buy new clothes? Grandma would yell. But grandpa could not be bothered at all. Soon after he would finish playing the flute, he would open his grey eyes and innocently ask grandma, Darling, were you saying something? That would get on my grandma's nerves. But grandpa would just laugh and continue playing his flute. He was a kind of person who smiled more and complained less. Even in this photo in front of me, he is smiling as if grandma just scolded him. In that prayer meeting with the fragrance of incense all around me, I recall what happened one day when my dad was not home and the kitchen pipes got severely blocked. The water was gushing out of that kitchen sink. My mom got worried as she was not able to manage it. None of the tools to unblock those pipes were working. So I rushed to my grandpa. Grandpa, the kitchen pipes are blocked. What should we do? Nothing is working. So my grandpa appears on the scene with our ancestral sword. And he started unclogging the pipes with the sword. Ancestral sword. He never valued things. All he valued was people. In this prayer meeting, I'm not crying because I'm angry at myself for not being enough with him. Also because the priest is telling made up stories. So I bottle up my grief inside and I stay in denial without shedding a single tear for my grandpa. 8 years pass by. One night I'm having this dream. In my dream, grandpa is sitting on the porch of our house. He's playing the flute with his eyes closed. But suddenly, he stops playing and he gradually opens his grey eyes and he starts leaving. I try to stop him, but I wake up with a jolt and a heavy heart. My pillow is wet with tears. 8 years of bottled up grief starts gushing out. I can't stop the stream of my tears. My wife wakes up and she asked, Baby, what happened? I miss Dadaji. My wife smiles, takes my face in her hands, and says, Baby, what are you talking about? Your grandpa is right here. She says that, pointing towards our 6-month-old daughter, who smiles more and cries less. She doesn't play with toys, but loves being with people. She even has an attraction towards the sound of a flute. And she has grey eyes. My logical mind that can think in terms of science doesn't think of genetics at that moment. But my emotional brain takes over me that simply wants to believe in the story of souls that reincarnate in the same family. I wipe off my tears because I find comfort in the story of grandpa reincarnating as my daughter. I pick her up, I hug her as I would hug grandpa, only to realize that we don't believe in stories because they are true, but we believe in stories because they comfort us and they connect us. Thank you.